So the next lecture will be held by Andreia Bruno, PhD. Dr. Bruno is a project manager and lecturer at the Faculty of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, Monash University, since February 2017. Previously, she was the project coordinator and researcher at the International Pharmaceutical Federation Education. As the pharmacy profession is facing a lot of challenges, new approach to improve healthcare is needed. So in her lecture, you will be able to hear about vertical integrated masters and new approach to pharmacy education. The presentation will provide an overview of the educational tools and programs used in the VIM to ensure that pharmacists in training are fit for practice. We are excited to hear more about it. Andreia, the floor is yours.
Can you hear me? Hello? Good evening. Just checking. Oh, yes, perfect. Thank you. The little green button wasn't ready. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. First of all, thank you for this lovely, kind invitation that you extended to me. As Eva mentioned, I'm working now at the Faculty of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Science at Monash University. I'm going to switch a little bit about what the presentations that you have had so far. I do want to apologize because I've been traveling the whole day today, so I don't look my best, but I'm really trying to see if I can engage with you, and I will allow time for questions. And I will talk about the vertical integrated masters, which we kind of call the VIM at Monash University. I wanted to share with you first this link. We won't have time to look at the video itself, but I wanted to provide you the link with the video because it's really powerful message. It's a WHO video, and it is about health workers or health workforce, and includes pharmacists. And why does it include pharmacists? So pharmacists are medicines experts, and we need now more than ever to work in healthcare teams and to ensure that the patients have the best care from us and have the most benefit from their medicines, but also have the best outcomes. We know that the profession itself is facing a lot of challenges. We are seeing an aging population, increasing complex with comorbidities within that population, personalized medicines, and also all the complexities with care that we're seeing nowadays. So we're now more and more moving towards integrated healthcare team approach. You know that globally the need for medicines and the diseases will continue to emerge, and will continue to have people needing medicine. So essential access to all medicines will continue to be increasingly important. So it is time to invest in education. It is time to transform healthcare workforce, and that's why we are here today. And I really want to congratulate for this fantastic opportunity and this fantastic way that the students have virtually for us to all come together and talk a little bit about these aspects. And I promise I won't be as good as my last speaker. I don't have comics, I'm sorry, but I will try to have some images for you guys as well. FIP has in the past past 2 years, 2016, we've launched the global the pharmaceutical workforce development goals. So this presentation actually focuses on all of these ones. So foundation training, competency development, leadership development, working with others, and workforce impact. And I encourage you to go and check what they are and check the FIP website and see how can you also become part and become involved in the developments or the activities that these have. Where do we find pharmacists? We find pharmacists everywhere. This slide is more Australian based, but we can relate to any country in a way of pharmacists are everywhere. Pharmacists are in hospitals, in the World Health Organization, in UNICEF, in Harvard, in marketing areas. So not only clinical aspects, but also other administration or academia. And it is important for us to have those skills to make sure that we are continue to be a flexible profession. So the supporting principles of the VIM, I must say that I've just recently moved to Monash. I was with FIP until 2017 January, so I moved to Australia in 2017 February, so I'm a year on my role as a project manager of the VIM, of the new degree that started last year. So we're in the second year of the new degree. And most of the things, the initial things were prepared by the team. So I'm presenting you on behalf of the team. I don't claim to have come up with these ones, but it is important for us to set the scene on how it is that, what it is that we're doing and how are we achieving. So the principles of the VIM is a personalized learning plan, and I'll talk to you more about that. And it's similar to a portfolio, and we're trying to instill already skills to the students. It is about connecting the science and practice, and it's always throughout everything we produce. It's framing science, but also making sure it's relevant. And we came with, to the students, we came as with this sentence or this hashtag of pharmacists in training. So since day one, we started to call them pharmacists in training. They are going to be our peers, they are going to be our colleagues, and they are going to be pharmacists. So at the moment, we're calling their training. They're trying to become a pharmacist. So it's really, the teaching is really integrated. It's across all disciplines, and I'll show you a couple of slides on that. We always contextualize the materials in terms of a patient or a medicine. So we know why we're learning that particular unit, or we know why we're learning that particular topic within the unit. The research skills are embedded. The portfolio mentioned competency assessments is also embedded throughout. There are some interprofessional opportunities that we're doing at the moment. It is a little bit of a global focus, and professional practice, especially the unit that I'm teaching in, we have made sure that that was also an opportunity for the students to know a little bit more about other opportunities that are outside of Australia. And also it's building from evidence. So as mentioned before, we have a range of specializations or areas of expertise. So we still need to make sure that the bases are medicines. We are the experts on medicines to become or to be able to provide such care or ideal in terms of areas of expertise. We still need to have a very solid base and a science base as well. The what, the how, and the why. And I think this is, I wanted to show you guys this one only because it is important to visualize how the degree is in a way connected. The what is, what are we doing with the students? So we have areas that we are approaching. The how the body works, how medicines work, inquiry, professional practice, experiential placements are the streams for the students. The how is through our model that I'm talking a little bit more about: discover, explore, apply, reflect. It's our DEAR model. We are putting students out and on placements, or allowing the students to have an idea of what practice is really early on, since the first year. We have the personalized learning plan, I'll talk a little bit more, and the skills coaching, which is new for us and also for the students. But we're also embracing technology. So we're doing this in a way that more and more these days we are evolving, we are innovating, and all of our students now have a cell phone, have computers. So the way they're learning is different from the way we used to learn. And I'm considering myself a little bit more old or wiser, if we want to say that. So nowadays we have technology-enabled learning, especially simulation, a lot of simulations. Moodle is our platform. I don't know which ones you use in Croatia, but Moodle at the moment is our platform. My Dispense simulation is free and available for anyone that would like to use it or to collaborate with Monash. There's My Pharm, which is the personalized learning plan, and I don't know if you see my little icon. Good, you use Moodle as well, so you know what I'm talking about. Great. The student dashboard, this is what the students see, and this has been a software that we developed for curriculum mapping and also for the learning plans that they use. Sorry, give me 1 second. Apologies for that. My apologies. Pharmatopia is also a simulation with tablets and with technology. PharmHub is one site that we've created in Moodle for all the students, first year and second year. So all of the announcements, all of what's transversal to all of them goes through that instead of the units. Formulary, which is a repository for the students to create their own list of medicines. I do apologize, this is not normal. And Farmville, which is a city that we created with real life people before, and we're using it as a way of teaching. Sorry. So design features of the VIM and the DEAR model that I've mentioned a little bit before. The discovery part is a pre-class preparation activities. So in Moodle, and if you're aware of Moodle, you know what Moodle books are. And they have the students have per week, per unit, a 6 grade point unit, they have 2 hours of discovery where they learn about the area, the topic, and do some check your learning questions at the end to make sure that they were aware of the topic. Explore is our interactive lectures, and especially in the first year, we're still doing 2 interactive lectures where the activities is with the students. We have a lot of think, pair, share, which is the students in class doing. So it's not a class that I'm doing all the talking and they are just listening. It's far more interactive, and the students feedback and present their findings to the whole class. Apply is what we do in the workshops, and we have facilitators to support also our workshops. So this is a group of 5 people within each table, and we have presentations in the workshops, or they have to work in a group and provide some feedback to their peers as well. Reflect is also time for them to consolidate all of the learning. The coaching is about the skills, which I'll talk in the next slide. And the micro-credentialing was something new that we started this year with the second years, and we've credentialed them to do health literacy, which was something that our partner hospitals asked us to try to see if the students could do it as a way of helping out in their 3-day or 5-day placement within the second year. We have what we call the super skills, which is the Power IT Inc. And the students have 1 hour per every 15 days with a skills coach. I'm a skills coach, and I have 2 groups of 10 students. And the focus on their reflections, they need to submit a reflection, in the software we created. And it's about problem solving or oral communication or written communication, empathy, reflective practice, integrity, teamwork, and inquiry. Inquiry is more from third year onwards, but it's good for the students to know that that is something that we want to achieve with them. So we're taking them on a journey as well, and we're learning from them. The personalized learning plans, or the PLPs as we call it, it's online. They submit. We have an agreed framework, so the students reflect on what, so what, now what, and the skills coach provide keep, start, stop feedback to the students, things that they need to keep doing and they did really good, things that they might need to start or consider doing, and the things that they need to stop. Most of the students normally need to stop is submitting the PLPs past the deadline. So we do have a deadline to make sure that we provide feedback to them, and normally either or they are being really harsh on themselves or not submitting the PLPs on time. So I do have two teams. One is the team ARVO, which it means afternoon in Australian, and those were words that I've learned while moved to Australia. And team Avocado, because they also call an avocado avo, and I've learned that while in Australia. So my teams pick that up and use their as their names. On this corner, we have the first visit to the hospital. In the first year, they had, in the second semester, they had one day that they were in the hospital shadowing pharmacists to understand what a pharmacist does before they actually go on to placements in the second year. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. The units overview, and I have this screenshot just for you guys to have an idea of how it's shaping up. At the moment, it's all developed until second year. So we're now currently developing the third year. So the comprehensive care units a little more in depth, and the fourth year as well. It might change. At the moment, this is what we are working on, and we got feedback from the first and the second year. So we are continuing to improve the degree, continuing to improve the units. The streams, as I mentioned, was how the body works, which is the first big unit they have in the first semester in the first year. And then all of the other ones also connect. All of them connect in a way, so they know what's next and why they're learning. Just briefly to give you an overview of the Monash model of care. It could be any it could be any model of care. We just try to synthesize the one that we are learning our students to go through, and it's about connect, collaborate, assess, recommend, educate, and follow up. And we are now teaching them through other methods, through a template, through inquiring some of the questions, what the informations that they have mean, and how can they talk to the patient, how can they assess the information, what should they recommend, and how to educate the patient. So in professional practice 3, the first semester of the second year, they're learning the structure, they're learning how to start the critically appraising a patient or a set of medicines in a disease pattern to then apply in the comprehensive care units that they're having this year and later on. So the latest activities that we've been up to was the health literacy credentialing. Our students, the second year students, had for the first time what we call a minor credentialing, but it was quite stressful for them. That was the first time they ever did it. And we wanted to make sure that they were able to go out to the hospitals and be confident of what they were doing. They're mainly talking about health literacy with the patient. They're mainly getting the questions that the patient might have for us, for them to then revert back to the pharmacist. So it's to explain what a medicine list is that we have in Australia, and to have their first contact with a patient in a professional environment. The interprofessional activity also occurred in year 2 in the first semester. They did a thunderstorm asthma. We had 750 pharmacy and medicine students collaborating on that case. And it was the first time also for us to do such a thing. I'm very proud to say that the students did really, really well. And they did realize that we are the medicines experts, and that medicine didn't know as much as we do in terms of medicines, which is great. And also started that collaboration for a future team approach or healthcare team approach. So we do have feedback and continuous improvement throughout the first year and also the second year. So we having the first time we're doing second year, and the second time we're doing first year, if I'm not confusing anyone. So we do have students and structure or facilitators, practitioners providing feedback about their workshops, about their experience. We do have a lot of practitioners working with us. In year 1 and year 2, there's a lot of them. There was one clinical practitioner in particular that developed the Monash model of care. So we are doing it in terms of connecting practice to the way of teaching and making sure that the teaching is relevant to the practice. We have noticed that the skills are improving, and we have, especially in the written and oral communication, they're feeling more confident. They know how to talk to each other, and in a way we had to force that interaction at the beginning, and now they're able to do that brilliantly. So we do have the Vim on the fly feedback form, and that's mainly for staff and instructors to provide feedback to us, to the team, to the build team, and to the director. So Tina Brock is the director of the degree, and I'm the project manager. We have what we call the snack chats once a month, and we invite students, alerting them with the possibility of snacks. So chocolates and chips and things like that if they come to that session. But we had really useful conversations, and we had changed some of the things that they've asked. Maybe not all of them, but I would say 70 to 80% of what the students have asked us, we were able to change, and especially to improve for this second time we're doing the first year. I'm proud to say that the students, we have what we call the open day. Not sure again if Croatia has anything similar to that. I didn't have it in Portugal, so this was my first time attending it. Yeah, perfect, you do. And for the first time ever, we had our first years being pioneers and being advocates for the degree, because only them knew what it was, because this is the first time. So they didn't have anyone above to talk or to ask how we're going to do it or what do they need to do. So they're really, really special, and that's why we call them our medicine superheroes. To say that this is really a team approach, and we've learned to work with each other. We've learned to make sure that meetings are set. There's far more meetings because of the approach, the integrated approach that the degree needs, especially team meetings, unit coordinator meetings, build meetings. And it's important for us to keep talking to make sure that we are aligning everything, and we know what's happening across all of the other units, and we know how to build from there. So we are asking them to be pharmacists in training, and as Pravet also had exciting times. We also think this is exciting times, and these are exciting times for pharmacy as well. And I hope you did enjoy a little bit of what we do in my presentation.
Thank you very
Happy
much
to take
for
questions.
your lecture. Oh, we already have incoming questions. So what amount of time is required to make a preparation for one interaction class or workshop?
A question. Ooh. A lot, and I mean a lot. Why is that? Because we also prepare the facilitator notes for the workshops. So it is, I would say, normally one interactive lecture would take you about 3 hours to do if you know the topic that you want to do. I would say this would take at least 3 times more, and it's a team approach. So we have built teams that meet every week until the materials are ready. The thing that actually takes more time also is the discoveries, to make sure that once the discoveries are done and the students have access to that or have that material ready, the interactive lecture is a way of exploring that discovery, and then the workshop is a way of applying that discovery. So no new material is presented to the students in those two following activities, which means that it takes a lot of time. Yes, it does. I'm not going to say it's really easy. It's not. And we prepare ideally 9 months, 6 months in advance. We are trying to prepare that 3 months at the very least. How do you motivate your professors to do that? To be honest, once I got to Monash when we were launching the first year of the VIM. All of them are amazing, amazing professors. I think it's hard to motivate them, but once they know how much the students have changed, once they're experiencing some of the activities that we do is for example, the OSCEs, and we did had OSCEs in the first year, and the professors were comparing nothing to do. They weren't part of the teams, but they were assessors in the OSCEs. And once they've seen the amount of improvement we had, and comparing even with the third and current fourth year in terms of oral and communication skills, I think it is a process. It's a journey. We need to take. It takes a little bit of time, but a motivation is we're preparing better healthcare professionals, and that's what we really want, is for the population to have the better outcomes and to make sure that they know what they do when they go out. Another question. Do you have a plan to validate this approach study? Will you compare the both? And in terms of comparing the two models in some way, I don't know. I don't think we're doing that. That's not what the intention of the VIM is. But we are getting a lot of data. We are analyzing that data. We have what we call a student engagement index, that we're collecting data like, have the students do the check your learning questions in the discovery? Are the students attending the interactive lectures, which we have the poll everywhere questions, and we're using poll ev to do that. Are the students attending the workshop? Are the students attending the skills coaching meetings? And we are trying to see if we can see some proxy measures into being successful in the degree. Sorry, I'm reading the questions. What advice would you give us, the students as well as teachers, if we want to start implementing this kind of approach into our curriculum? How do we even start with developing this at a local level? Start with a brainstorming meeting. Involve everyone, students that have been in the degree, faculty members, student administration part, student support, the administration in terms also of the enrollment of the students, what are you expecting and how. This is really, really a big team approach. It has involved changing a lot of the policies internally and to make sure that it's all about communication. I can't stress enough. We do also Vim and Vigor, which is a newsletter that we send out to everyone involved in the Vim every 2 weeks with updates and sharing things that have happened. So communication is the key aspect. I would suggest get your sticky walls out and come up with a first draft ideal of what you would like, and then try to narrow it down of what's feasible locally and how can you achieve that. It's not an easy process, but it is a very fun process.
Yes, I would like to ask you,
any other
how
question?
did the students
Eva, do you
react
have
to
any
this
questions
new
for me?
concept? Do they like it?
Well, they did. At the beginning was tough for them. The first year, especially last year, they didn't know any different. So for them, what we were trying to take them also on a journey, and we involved them as much as possible to make sure that they were also heard through that experience. Things like the discovery materials are too condensed, too long. Some of the interactive lectures, the videos weren't great, like smaller things, but we tried to make those smaller improvements for them to have a better experience, and they did very well. I think nowadays, or the way that we approach the teaching should also be the way that the students now learn. They learn through YouTube videos, they learn through reading themselves and doing and exploring on their own time. So we try to cater for that as well. And it's not about us just telling you what you need to know, but it's also about us exploring those topics with you and exploring in a way that it makes it easier for the learner to learn. Another question. I'm a fifth-year student and we didn't have these kinds of approach of our education, so it's clear that we're lagging behind. What would you advise for students like us to cope up? I do not believe you're lagging behind, first of all. I did not have any of this in my training as well. These students nowadays also have the recordings from the interactive lectures, so they will have access to that. You're not at all lagging behind. The pharmacy degree is very flexible, it's very good. I think continuing professional development is the way to go. So if there's the gaps in your knowledge, you should try to identify them as soon as possible and try to see what opportunities you could have in addressing those. So my expertise is competency frameworks, and my area of expertise is actually professional development. So what we're trying to also say is we're trying to, at Monash, in this particular area, we're trying to make sure that our students are ready for practice, but we're also trying to help our practitioners become better and perform better if they wish to do so. So it's not a bottom-up approach, it's all sides approach. So it is about us as professionals and us as continuing to learn, and we learn every day. I learn with the students as well. So it is about sharing and identifying what we could do better. Hope that answers your question. And I do want to say that pharmacists are amazing, and pharmacists can do anything, and that's what makes us so unique. And don't feel like you're different or you need to compare yourselves to others. No, you need to know what's best for you, and you need to do your own path. Everyone has a different path, and I can guarantee you that I did not signed up for pharmacy when I did a few years ago. I'm very wise. And ended up in academia with a PhD in the middle and doing project management with FIP for 10 years. So all of us are unique. Find the thing that you're
Thank you for
most
your
passionate
answer.
about
And I have another
and fight for
question for
that.
you. Could you tell us what changes did the students ask for? Did they ever propose some ideas or
Yes.
suggest some kind of a method?
No, not from what we've learned at least. They propose a lot of ideas, not on the methodology itself, but things like I can't recall a few, but the video, there was two particular videos in one of the discovery that was about biology that they really struggled with and asked if we could provide with the transcripts because they were really having difficulties in not only understanding maybe the accent of the person, but understanding the concepts behind. So this year we've done it in a different way. We've done it in a HTML way that they can not only hear it but stop at any time. It has chapters and it has the script with it. So things like that. They said, oh, we had a lot of assessments. We continually to have in-semester assessments a lot. We normally have a weighting of 60% for in-semester assessments to 40% of the final exam. So if you do very well and if you keep up with the material, it will be far easier to do the exam. And so this in-semester assessments actually have a bigger weight on rather than the final exam. And the bigger weight is divided into small chunks. So it's about 5%, 10% within the assessments. And in professional practice, they did ask, they said, we had a lot of assessments. There was always assessments every week. So we've reduced from 11 assessments to 6. So we're listening to those suggestions also and make sure that
I
we
believe it
can
does.
improve the degree.
Thank you very much
Does that help?
for your lecture. It was really nice to hear about this innovative approach, and I hope that in the future we will get to implement something like this, at least something similar in our faculties as well.
Sure. We're always happy to collaborate. There's a lot of things that we do at Monash that are freely available, and it's one of the things that Monash is good in terms of philosophy. It's about sharing and
And
collaborating. So we're happy to help if we can. You're very welcome. Bye, everyone. Thank you.